Hello, welcome to the July 17th, 2025 Helm Developer Meeting. This project is a CNCF project and it falls under the CNCF Code of Conduct. If it is also being recorded, so if you don't want to be recorded, please fall off now and watch the recording later. And let's get started. Do we have any announcements? All right. I have one quick one. Helm 3.17.4 went out. It is for SDK users and SDK users only, and CLI users are recommended to use the latest stable version of Helm, which would be 3.18.4. Yep. Thank you, Matt. Just want to make sure that went out, and then we'll move on to the discussions. George, you have a bunch there. I will start slacking them in there, but the floor is yours, sir.
Thank you. Yeah, I won't go through these individually, but a bunch of cleanup PRs. That if I keep some eyes on, please. And I got one other, Robert, that I'm going to send you a Slack on the side for.
Yep. Okay.
Which is to clean up Atomic.
Gotcha. So you just need people to review and put them.
Yep. Unless I know, Matt, you had comment on force versus force replace. If you wanted to discuss the semantics, otherwise there's notes on the PR which I responded to your comment.
Yeah, I'll have to look at. Let me pull this up again. My comment was around. Yeah, do we want to change the name? Do we want to change the name? That was really my comment. What's the value? What's the advantage to end users to change the name after this has probably been going on 6 years?
And for context, everybody, I've just put the link of the PR that they're discussing in the chat. Thanks. So you guys can follow along.
So the rationale is force flag does the same thing as kube control replace effectively. So it's a little misleading. And I want to introduce a force conflicts flag for server-side apply. So if we don't change the name, we'll have a force and a force conflicts, and people are going to say it's going to be confusing for users. For the compatibility, the force flag will still be there; it'll just be hidden and marked as deprecated.
So it's you said the kubectl replace?
Yeah, that's what our force flag does today. It's the same thing as kube control does.
Can I make would it be possible to add the new one and keep the old one and say this is a synonym for the old one? Or do we need,
That's exactly what this PR does, except it's slightly more aggressive. It hides the old one and prints a bad warning.
Yeah, so that's the difference. Instead of making one a synonym for the other, so they both work, in this case, it says force is deprecated. We'll give you a deprecation warning when you use it and tell you to use force replace, but it still works the same.
If it's been around so long, is deprecation the best strategy? I don't know. Just asking.
I mean, it's like what we did with Helm delete, right?
Okay.
Oh, you mean instead of Helm uninstall?
Yeah, we hid Helm delete. It still works, but we gave people, an entire major version to get used to the new thing, without breaking what they did.
Seems long enough. Yeah.
Yeah, and maybe one of the things we should look for is just to see, well, I guess we're not removing it, we're deprecating it, so they'll just get a warning. So everybody still continues to use it. Yeah, I haven't thought about the user experience implications a lot on this. I'll go poke at it again. I'll poke at this one myself again.
Okay.
And look at the kubectl replace one.
Awesome.
Thank you.
George, the entire discussion is 90% you. Is there any other PR before we move on that you would like to highlight for discussion today, or just reviews for the rest, sir?
I think most of them are fairly just straightforward cleanup, so I don't think we need to spend time talking about them.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you. And Ingi, you have an update on Go YAML 4 version 4, Floor Sourcer.
Yeah, I just threw that in there because it looked late today. So I was talking with the Go YAML team about version 4 this morning and thought I'd just that will be the next version. We're not going to make any changes to V3. That'll stay the same so we don't break anything. We also don't want to change any API changes in V4. We'll add new API calls. So I think that like there's Marshall and unmarshal, and then there's actually decode and encode that's less used, but that's for getting comments and stuff like that. I was and I think there's a lot of options that we want to add. So we will add load and dump, which are the standard YAML terms, and those will Marshall will and unmarshal will call those with their default configurations, but then we can add all kinds of configurable things which are necessary for a lot of reasons in the ecosystem. I was going to ask real quick, is there things that Helm would like to see YAML do differently in V4? Can anybody think of some things? And that's probably not something you think about regularly, so but we can ask you again next week.
Yeah, if you could, can you update the meeting notes with that ask? And then so anyone coming back, they can provide feedback. They might want to provide it in the notes. Would be my suggestion.
Yeah.
All right.
Cool.
Does anybody else have anything open for discussions around the horn here?
I could also plug my, I'm probably running out of PR, new bandwidth here, my other server-side apply PR. I can dig up, the link is on the last meeting notes. Since we have a light agenda.
Okay.
I just stuck it there. Sorry, Ingi, I stole your focus.
Oh, that's all right, bud.
I'm gonna copy that link and throw it in the chat for everybody. Anything? Is this just a bump on this, George?
Yeah, just a bump. Thank you.
Okay.
Perhaps also because we have a light agenda. I have also started working on the plugin infrastructure. We merged WASM plugin hit. So the first PRs will just be kind of realigning the code to allow adding in WASM based plugins.
Do we have a proof of concept for the changes to Helm yet? In PR form or in a repo?
Yes, they are very much proof of concept, but I have some kind of hack togethers. They don't even necessarily run, so I wouldn't even necessarily call them proof of concepts. But
I've got one that you can look at too. We're basically.
Oh, sorry, you've also been.
I'm not looking for the plugin side. I'm looking for the changes in Helm side of this. Not what does a plugin look like, but what does the changes in Helm look like?
Yeah, I've got some stuff that's pretty far along. But so George and I are kind of building a tunnel from both sides of the river. Here's let me send it to you.
Is it a PR? Is it checked in? Can we put the link in the notes?
Yep. 1 second.
All right. While you do that, Andrew, you have your hand up.
Yeah, it's mainly on lines of as we start to coalesce on what plugins look like and how we can get people to contribute, understand plugins, making sure we at least have a document that allows us to share how you would actually implement a plugin, what a plugin is, just so that we can start getting more eyes on what plugins look like in Helm.
Yeah, I think that was some of the feedback I put in towards the hip where that wasn't outlined either. So thanks, good shout out there. All right.
Also, is this the Helm changes? What everything is it being wrapped so that we have to replace the engine? We can do it without an API breaking change to Helm.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, it is. And here's a repo with like test plugins. They have legacy plugins and new ones, and they're in process. So this doesn't include the WASM stuff. That's the pieces that we're kind of meeting And this just includes the changes to the Helm code base right now that allows additional plugin types. So the engine is what's being worked on separately, and we're going to be merging our efforts there. The engine, or like say the runtime, would be adding WASM in addition to the sub process that we have now. Right now,
So
the type, yeah.
is WASM as the plugin mechanism that's also abstracted, so that can be.
Yep. Yeah.
Well.
Yeah. Let me dig up the code changes that I have. It's just going to take me a few moments. With slow Wi-Fi, I'm surprised the video's working so well. But the short version is I want to change it so that there's an invoke interface, meaning that right now, if you look at say the getter code, it kind of almost executes subprocess directly itself. So I want to put that behind an interface, which I've called invoke, which kind of looks like a request response going in and out of the plugin system. And then behind that, there'll be a plugin runtime. So we'll continue to support subprocess as a plugin runtime, and then also add an xdism as a runtime, so that the consumer side of the plugin will not really know how the plugin, like it'll know about plugins and then it'll invoke them, and then the runtimes will be responsible for actually dispatching that out to the implementation of the actual plugin.
So xdism, is that being wrapped so you don't explicitly see it, or do you see xdism when you do it?
So from Helm SDK side, no xdism. You don't know how plugins are implemented from Helm SDK side. We want to wrap xdism on the plugin side, which we can do for Go. And this will allow a plugin author writing in Go to avoid seeing xdism. But xdism is effectively the API between.
Oh yeah, I understand.
Yeah,
It's more
yeah,
of
yeah.
does if it goes in remember this is VC funded startup code. If it goes in an odd direction during the life and you've got to swap out of it, that breaks our plugin model. To replace it, you'd have to do a Helm v5. It becomes a very, very big pain point, an unplanned pain point. So this is the kind of thing you normally just want to wrap, so that if
Yeah,
we've got to
sure.
fork it or change it, we have the ability to do that
Well,
freely.
It's not just xdism being V. Sorry, let me wait one. As long as the xdism being VC funded, like the WASM ecosystem is constantly pushing forward. I don't think xdism is going to be the end game for WASM in 3 to 4 years. So we need a way to evolve WASM itself, regardless of the VC funding of that startup.
Exactly. So the runtimes that are being added in addition to the current sub process are going to be versioned, or are being versioned, so that you can update that, similar to how we're doing with charts V2 and V3 without having to wait for the next major version of Helm.
Just like just a follow up on. It sounds like we're not locked into xdism. Are we locked into WASM? I guess that's kind of
for WASM plugins. We're locked into WASM.
Yeah. For WASM plugins, yeah.
But we will support two different types of plugins initially, which will be WASM and subprocess.
And anything for WASM will be locked into xdism. It's just going to be wrapped so that if you need to swap it out, you can. But that is the implementation we're going to be relying on in the short term, because it's the best viable implementation on the market right now, if I understand it right. There isn't another one you'd want to pick up and run with.
But you just
what was the alternate? Sorry, Scott, hold on. What was the other one? Was the subprocess one? Is that's not the old system, is it? That's a new.
That's the old system.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just calling arbitrary binaries. You could call it shelling out, but it's not literally shelling out. It's a subprocess within Go. So that's why we're calling.
I thought the plugin thing was something where you had Helm-foo and.
Yeah, it basically calls usually a script or any binary, honestly.
Yes.
But do you have to? Is the interface to the WASM thing the same thing as you have like a?
From the code consuming the plugin, yes.
And there's different kinds of plugins. You're thinking of one style. There's downloader plugins, for example. There's a couple other places we might inject them here in the next 6 weeks.
Yeah.
Because downloader plugins is something a little different. It works the same way, but it's the way it's called out to. So instead of execing something in the file system, you'd essentially be execing WebAssembly.
Where will these plugins be configured? Like, so, if you know, how will charts, can a chart say, I want to use this downloader plugin or what?
Right now, let me just be really clear at high level. Right now,
Yeah.
this implementation does not include chart defined plugins. That's a separate HIP that we are just putting on hold until after this infrastructure is in place, and we will determine if and when that's viable. So for now, it's just making it's really just adding an additional runtime to how plugins work now. And just to finish answering your question, Ingi, about like, are we locked in? What building it like this does, it allows us to build additional runtimes too, if in the future we want to.
Yeah, and I need to get the next version of charts stuff done because we won't be adding plugins to V2 charts, and V3 charts are not bound by the upcoming code freeze because we can make them experimental and work on them for longer. And so we're not bound to have these plugins. We can play and continue to work on that. I think what everybody's working on right now is the time boxed work, which is really sometime in August. We have to get to feature freeze.
So
And that's what we're interested in.
if that being said, I want to two things on that. One, Scott, I put in the notes, I put your two links from here and there. So if everyone has an opportunity to go check that out, let's check those out offline. And then Scott, you have a question on Helm 4 pre-release feature freeze date.
Yes. To wrap up what we were just saying, Ingi, I added the link to the chart define one that maps to the charts V3 that maps to the charts V3 work that Matt just mentioned. So for notes and whatever else. And yeah, so my question really is in the HIP for the Helm 4 development process, there's two things. One is there is a target deadline for a feature, essentially a feature freeze for the pre-release for Helm 4. Between that and the full release scheduled for by KubeCon November is going to be primarily a hardening period. We're not going to be adding additional features after that point so that we can actually like finish fixing everything that's in there. My question is, this is to Matt because also part of that is as the release engineer for Helm 4, you get to decide these things. Is this like you want it on August 1st, or is it sometime in August? Do you want to kind of like leave that as an open question for the moment?
So I'm leaving it as an open question, but the reality is I'm probably thinking the end of the month.
Okay.
End of the month is better than the start of the month.
Yeah, I was
me.
looking at the end of the month, because it's like when somebody says we're doing this in Q3, everybody thinks, well, you've got till the last day of Q3 to do it, right?
Right.
Yeah,
That
we've been around for long enough to.
I want to remind everyone we still have hardening to do, right? Like we have a hard date, and
Absolutely.
we want to make sure so it doesn't mean we can put like half. I got 2 lines in there, and I can add the 40 other lines later. It's just making sure that we have enough time to test.
No, it's really do mean feature because the start of September we'll be making blog posts and announcements to say, hey, we're in this new phase. People come try it. It's not like we're feature freezing and half done features. Oh, we got these issues with it. Well, no. Let's try to make it clean because people are going to be looking at our code in September.
So that's a good clarity. The features have to be usable because we're going to be asking people to start testing and touching it. So like if it's not usable, let's not try to push it. But if it is usable, let's go with it. And so we can get feedback and harden that, right?
That's exactly what I was going to recommend. So anyway, thank you for clarification.
Yep. Ingi, you have your hand up, sir.
Yeah. This is kind of a weird question, but like, if the plugin system wasn't in Helm 4, would there be any excitement behind? I mean, what's the biggest thing in Helm 4? Is it the plugin system?
The biggest thing in Helm 4 is
Helm 4
probably a lot of breaking and cleanup changes. And we're going to make some more things. Helm 4, I don't think is going to be this wow exciting thing for most people. It allows us to clean things up and keep going, but it's not. I mean, how do you make package manager features wow exciting these days, right? It's it's like how do you make curl wow exciting these days when it has a major version change? which it
Plugin
hasn't
system's a
happened in
big
a long
deal.
time,
Yeah.
right?
If I may, this is infrastructure, right? And infrastructure should be boring. So if Helm 4, the
Yeah.
most exciting thing is we didn't break people, we didn't impact people. I say that's a big win
I,
because
I also think another one is going to be user experience. There's going to be some user experience around how the logging works. There's going to be
Mhm.
things. So there are feature enhancements, but it's
There's
just
the
not.
new, yeah. Oh, so there's a new weight functionality as well to throw that one in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Austin snuck that nicely in. Sorry.
So
Like for
there,
the rural community, it was a big deal when releases started going out every 3 months, and then you could just end it forever. It's been dependable on that. So I think if we get on yearly releases with Helm 4, even if that was the biggest deal, if that's the plan to do Helm, a release a year, that's pretty big news. I don't know if that
well,
is the
I
plan.
don't know if we'll do another major release because you can add features in the .1 releases and the minor releases.
Mm.
So we'll probably do that for a little while and continue to add features in and build this out a
Okay.
little bit. And it's when we're ready to break things again, that's when we'll do a Helm 5. I don't
Fair.
think we'll go 5 years again because you got people who've got the itch to make some more changes and breaking changes, those kinds of things. But I also would not expect it to be the next year.
Fair.
So as we move on, because I want to make sure we have time for assignments, do we have any hit reviews that need to be reviewed? Any shout outs? All right, social media amplifications. Karen's not here, but if you have some, she's been really good about putting that in the Slack channel. With that, for next week's call, moderator, who wants to do it?
I can
Anyone?
put my hand up again, and I will hopefully
All
not
right,
be in the train.
we'll put George on it. Notes. Robert will do notes. Issue triage. Evans, you part of this?
Yep.
It's PR, Harry, myself, and core maintainers for next week who can be present. I'm assuming Robert, George.
I can be present.
Scotty, my bad, sorry, and Matt. All right. Does anyone have anything else? 3 minutes left. All right. Well, thank you, everybody. Appreciate all the hard work, and we will see everyone next week.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you.
You know.